Welcome back. And if it was only a few seconds or you skipped ahead because you're like, I just want to keep going through this. This is so good. Whatever it is, if you needed to take some time, I'm just happy you're back because now we're going to talk about crumbling under the pressure and giving up and what is really going on here. So, empowered birth truth number 2 that you need to understand is that crumbling under the pressure or giving up is actually a trauma response. Think about all the times when you were a child and you were trying to push back against something and you got punished for it. Or maybe it wasn't with your parents. Maybe it was somebody else in your life. Maybe it was some other adult, or maybe you had a situation where you tried to stand up for yourself and somebody just basically pushed you down. So now you have this trauma response of maybe I should just give up. This is too hard. Or I'm going to crumble under the pressure because I crumbled last time. So we all have some form of trauma in our lives. And I can't speak for you, but I know for myself that I had a lot of fear. I was also in a toxic and abusive relationship that I had no idea was toxic and abusive because I had no actual blueprint for what real love looks like. I'd only ever seen toxic dynamics play out. I only had conditional love. So I didn't recognize what true unconditional love looked like. And I ended up getting into this abusive relationship with my partner, my former partner. I will preface that. And the father of my first 2 kids. And what happened is that he had been slowly chipping away at my self-esteem for years, and I just didn't see it. And we often don't see it because we think that we're the problem. We're taught that we're the problem. And we all respond to fear of pain, fear of the pressure and interventions, fear of the pushback, fear of something going wrong in different ways. And whatever way it is like that's just your way of doing it. And being aware of that will help you to see, oh, this is usually my typical response of how I will end up doing something if this trigger comes up. So once you know what your triggers are and you know how you respond in these situations, you can start to shift that. So the trauma responses that we have when we come from a place of fear, we're activating our most primal response system and it will react in one of 5 ways. So fight is when you try to resist, you struggle, you say no. You sometimes get really aggressive with it. And in the context of the medical system, that might not be the best idea. Because if you get aggressive, they might say that you are overly aggressive and now they are afraid because when you get aggressive and somebody else sees that aggression, they're going to respond with that fear, and that fear is going to activate their trauma response. Flight is when you try to avoid or escape the situation. It's like, I don't want to have a hospital birth, so I'm just going to run away. I'm just not going to do that. Or you're like, this care provider keeps pushing back on me. I'm just not going to go to those appointments anymore. But secretly, you are still afraid because they are calling and calling and calling and stressing you out. And you're like, they're going to call CPS on me. I'm terrified. Instead of recognizing that you're fleeing the scene, instead of actually taking control. Freeze is when somebody says something to you and you're thinking in the moment, I want to say no, but I'm not saying no. And I'm just going to just sit here and I'm just going to be paralyzed, and you're not acting. You're just in that freeze state. Now, fawning is another way. You try to appease the one you think has power over you. This is when you go to your care provider and you're begging, you're compromising, you're trying to appeal to them with all these articles to show that you know what you're talking about because you just want them to take you seriously. You want them to like you. You're looking at them as like, I'm going to appease you by, I don't actually want to do this vaginal exam, but I know that you're really uncomfortable with me not doing this vaginal exam, so I'm going to do this vaginal exam. It's things like, I'm not actually comfortable saying yes to this induction, but you're now like upset that I'm refusing. And maybe I'll just agree to that membrane sweep because then like that'll be the compromise. But you know, if you've got an abusive care provider who's doing a lot of pushback and they're doing it in a way that's showing that they are aggressive, they could break your water. You don't want to compromise. You don't want to fight. You don't want to beg. The last one. Now, this is the most, like, this is when things get to be so much for you. You flop. You actually shut down and black out. It's like when it's like, I wasn't in my body. I was watching them and they did these things to me and I just completely shut down. And I don't even remember all of it. I just know I shut down. This is the same kind of response that some people have if they have been sexually assaulted, is they just shut down. And that's why it's so harmful when people are like, well, you know, you didn't do anything, you didn't fight, you just shut down. So clearly, like, it's your fault. No. If you had a care provider who held you down and forced a procedure on you, and it was traumatic, and you didn't scream out no, and you didn't try to tell them to stop, and nobody came to your rescue, and you actually had an out-of-body experience where you just shut down and you're like, I haven't done anything, and blacked out from the pain or from the actual trauma of it, it's not your fault. If you appeased somebody that was pressuring you, it's not your fault. If you froze up and didn't act, it's not your fault. If you didn't flee the scene, it's not your fault. If you did try to flee the scene and were in anxiety, it's still not your fault. If you fought and it didn't work, it's not your fault. So the thing you need to understand is, as I said, with flight, you often it's activated by picking one less ideal choice to avoid a perceived worse outcome without considering there may be alternatives. Now, this isn't even just fleeing your care provider. This is also fleeing the idea of pain. You're told, hey, if you don't have this induction, you're going to have a bigger baby and you're going to tear. Are you? No, not necessarily. So when you understand this, when you realize that you're making a choice that's not actually right, and you're doing it from a place of fear instead of a place of power, that is a trauma response. And it's ingrained into our DNA as humans. It was used as a way to protect us, but it no longer serves in the context of you wanting to be able to trust your instincts. Okay, so just recognize that if you have had any of these trauma responses in other areas of your life as well, it's not your fault. Now you know. Now you know what your responses are. I'm going to invite you to start thinking about what your responses are in trauma. And if you want to do that, go into your workbook and put in your insights, your key takeaways, or write in your journal, write on a Word document, whatever you need to do to start thinking, where is it that you are more likely to go into those responses and what is the trigger? Because once you know that, you're going to be able to move forward. And I know this is heavy stuff. So please take a break, go get some water, go take a walk, go breathe, go do something, dance to some music, let that out. Because the next part we're going to be addressing is going to be understanding the traumatic birth. Okay? So I will see you in the next module. Thank you for watching. I'm really proud of you for having gotten this far, by the way.